Right team, welcome to the JST Compete Open Preview Show. We've got new season, new format, we've got new movements, we're in a new office, everything's brand new. So we're going to have a quick rundown and just give you guys some tips and advice on how to attack 21.1.
Sure. So we're going to go through our first thoughts on this, okay? First thing that springs to mind is shoulder fatigue, okay? And how we can manage that. Double unders, wall walks, both super shoulder.
Yeah. The second thing, when I watched through the announcement with Carrie Pearce and Cristiano, was how tight the time cap was. Carrie Pearce, who's known as probably the best gymnast, and especially shoulder endurance and CrossFit, is only finishing just under 2 minutes under the time cap.
And the final one was be clear on the standards for the wall walk, okay? Make sure you know the measurements away from the wall, and make sure you know how to start, how to finish the movement.
So we've got the two options here for the at-home, no equipment version, and then the RX version. So I'm going to touch on the RX version, the double unders. Now in double unders we also use your shoulders and you also use your calves. So we need to think about, does it make sense to stick to big sets on the double unders when those sets increase to the kind of 90, 150, and can we start splitting them into much smaller sets with a short amount of rest? Okay, we don't want to be getting and holding on to a big set of double unders, and then when we get round to the wall walks, because our shoulders are blown out a little bit from the double unders, we're going to have to lie there on the floor and rest anyway for what's going to be another shoulder intensive exercise.
As well, just to add to that, just thinking about like your technique for the double unders a little bit as well. Like some positions feel a bit more shoulder intensive than others, so just have a little play around with that if you can before the workout as well. Then for the no equipment version, we've got lateral jumps over a line, no shoulders involved there. We can go straight through, no brew. Okay, it's just going to be a little bit intensive on the calves. We should be looking to go unbroken on that if we can.
So, the wall walks. Probably the first thing that sprung to everyone's mind when we woke up at half one and saw the workout. Like we said before, know the standard. It's your responsibility. It's your judge's responsibility a little bit, but it's more your responsibility to know exactly what this standard is. Don't be going into your session before you start your warm up and then having to Google or having to look through on the game's website of what the standard is for wall walk. So before you even go to the gym, figure that out, read about it, watch the videos, make sure you're good to go. Yeah. So the main technique pose that we've figured out once we're trying the wall walks is try and get your feet up as high as possible before the hands start pushing up the wall. And a good example is Carrie Pearce when she does this. Is you'll see that she does like a bit of a push up, and then the feet get up as high on the wall as she can, and then she takes minimal steps with her hands to get to the wall, because her feet are already nearly up towards the height they need to be at, so it takes less from her shoulders to be able to get there.
I think when we looked for Carrie Pearce, it took 3 to 4 steps,
yeah. And
then for Christy Aramore it was taking like 7 steps, which is a lot more fatigue. She's having to do more movements to get up that wall.
She's doing a double the reps. Yeah.
Second point, so time and attention. Okay, how can we limit that shoulder fatigue? So we want to get up the wall in as few steps as possible, as less reps as possible. We want to be upside down for as little time as possible as well. How can we limit that time and attention? And
that comes back to this second point here a little bit, but also when your feet are up there and it's time to start pushing your hands, do it quick. Get yourself up to the wall as quick as possible, touch the line, get your hands back down to the front line and then drop. Okay, and then get that rep done as quick as possible rather than kind of trying to keep it slow and controlled. I think with a wall walk we're all used to doing it as a bit of an accessory for gymnastics, so we always try to keep slow and controlled and make sure you're fully in control of the movement at all times, where this is CrossFit now, and we're doing this as fast as we can. So get up to the top, get down, then rest at the bottom.
Rest on your back. You could see both Christy and Carrie looking for ways to kind of take the tension off the shoulders when they're on the floor, like put the hands outside. Steve quickly came up with it and was like, "Why don't I just go on my back?" Which you can let your arms completely relax, okay? Not under tension at all. So give that a whirl as well. It could be just a quick flip over, quick flip back, but it's just going to give that few seconds that's going to make all the difference.
And I'd pitch this as if you're doing like press ups in Murph. Like you don't want to be sat at the bottom of your press up having got another 100 press ups to do in that press up position and under tension. You'll either, well, you might line your back in Murph, or you'll just come up onto your knees. Like just take the tension away from your shoulders, have that rest where you can actually kind of let the shoulders recover and get some oxygen in, and then get back into position.
Mm-hmm. So, if you're a relative beginner, to give you an idea of beginner, we're kind of maybe looking at Rainhill kind of standard in the UK. Be cautious from the start, alright? You tempo the reps. So like we said, you don't want to be controlling the movement too much. If you're controlling that movement a lot, it's going to take you longer to do it. It's going to fry out your shoulders a lot quicker, okay?
And then we just want to minimise, like we said earlier, we want to minimise the early build-up fatigue. We want to minimise fatigue over the whole workout, except maybe towards the end, but the early fatigue is in like the first few minutes of the workout. Try and not just go out of the blocks, and then you get to like the round of 9 and 90 and you're feeling your shoulders are blown up straight away, because when you get to the round of 9 you've still got 40 plus wall walks and 400 odd double unders. So just take your time through the beginning and make sure the workout's only starting to get hard on your shoulders, kind of like halfway, 3/4 of the way through, and then you can kind of stick it out until the end.
Mm-hmm. So intermediate, so here we're kind of looking at a decent kind of national level, okay? So you're going to be pretty good, have pretty good shoulder endurance probably. You're more likely to tactically break the double unders up, so it makes sense to kind of split those double unders up, less time under tension again, so that you can cut that rest down a little bit, okay, on the wall walks, because you're going to be resting a lot more on them.
And then, as we just previously said a couple of slides ago, the rest periods, you're probably going to be taking a few more rest periods, so make sure when you are resting, you're just completely offloading any muscle groups that need to work. So rest on your knees or your back. And then following that up there is just every rep, just make sure you're focusing on your technique in every rep in terms of what we're saying before, is get your feet up as high as possible. Every push with your hands over the wall, make sure it's a big push so you're doing as few as possible, and you're not just kind of switching off midway through the rep and then suddenly you don't get your feet up as high, and then it takes you 7, 8, 9 pushes to the wall, and then the kind of fatigue starts kind of building up. Really focus down on every single wall walk rep, and then just make sure, like we said with the double unders, keeping everything tight and keeping your shoulders relaxed. The big boys and girls.
Oh. So we want to identify in the workout where you might start to slow down. Christy Aramo said after she did the workout that she got to the 9s and she could start to feel that fatigue in the shoulders quite a lot, okay? So identify where it's going to start getting tough.
I think for any 21, obviously this is the reverse 21-15-9, but for any 21-15-9, everyone knows that it's the 15s which are like the deal breaker. Obviously we're going up, but it's still very similar. When people get to the 15s, that's going to be the point in time where people are going to pull away, or people are going to slow down. So before the 15s, make sure you're approaching the 15s, feeling in control of the workout. When you get to the 15s, that's when you can then start to afford to really push the boat a little bit. Get the 15s done. You'll have a decent time off the floor because you follow it up with 150 double unders.
Yeah.
That's 90 seconds to 2 minutes off the floor. Mm-hmm. And then your last round's the big round.
I think it's important to state as well, like when you get to the 15s, you're not even kind of halfway through the workout, okay? Far from it. You've still got another...
Just past halfway.
Well...
kind of. Oh, not halfway yet. Sorry, my bad.
Hey! And then the last one, minimal muscle tension during reps. So that's what we talked about on the wall walks before, like getting up as efficiently as you can, trying to drop down fast, okay, to finish each rep as fast as you can as well.
Yeah, and what burpee tech is there, and what we mean by that is everyone's used to like doing really efficient burpees now, where you kind of peel up off the floor and then you step up with one leg and then you jump over the bar and you use as little energy as possible to do it. Now, when the girls started the announcement, felt like they were trying to be really tight and explosive, and everything was like they were using a lot of muscle tension basically. And then as they got more tired, you'll see Carrie Pierce did it really well. She kind of peeled the chest up off the floor first, like we do with the burpees, and then she brought the lower body up. So let's try and adopt a similar technique, but from the very beginning, okay, rather than going towards that as you get tired, and let's save a little bit of energy as we go. And then, so just to summarise, practice and perfect the movement before you go, okay? Before you even maybe start your full warm-up, draw the lines, practice the movement, make sure you fully understand how to do it. You've got a judge there that's going to say, yeah, I'm happy with that, that's good. Which I guess moves into the next part of knowing the standards.
Hands start on the tape, feet start on the wall. You finish the rep when your hands are back on the tape, okay, and you're back on the floor.
And then, so like I said, the time cap is tight, okay, it's 15 minutes. So I would rather people look at this workout as a 15-minute AMRAP, and it was just an ascending ladder, okay? And when you're doing an ascending ladder and AMRAP, you're always a little bit more aware of the time than you are when it's just a full-time workout. So keep an eye on the time all the way through, and as you go in, just kind of do a little bit of that mental arithmetic as to be like, right, well, I'm on the 9s now and I've got 5 minutes left, which probably means the 15s is going to be my last round. And then you can be more aware of your level of fatigue that you're building up and when you need to push in the workout if you're aware of the time as well.
And finally, split your rest evenly. Okay, so between reps, try and count in your head, or as best you can, like how much rest you take. From the start, again, try and maintain that same kind of pace all the way through. If you go out too hot, again, that's when that shoulder fatigue is really going to come in. And for this as well, get an idea of this when you're doing the practice at the start, okay?
And this splitting the rest evenly covers the double under rest as well. So rather than all your rest come in when you're on the floor with wall walks, and then you get to double unders and you knock them all out and broken, take a little bit of the rest in the middle of the double under set, so you're just splitting your rest evenly across both exercises, okay? So that's all from us. Hopefully some insightful and helpful tips for you. Look forward to seeing the scores on the leaderboard.
See you on the leaderboard.
Before worldwide, who's your pick?
For this workout, I think Carapace is going to do it again and beat her old score.
Okay.
To start off with. And on the guy's side, someone like Cody Anderson.
I was thinking small gymnastic guy. I was trying to think who's been the best at handstand walks. I feel like Noah Olsen is that would be good at this.
What about girls' side?
I would have said Carrie Pierce from the beginning.
Yeah.
I know that Briggsy loves a little bit of shoulder work. How about your girl shout?
Carrie Pierce for me. Yeah, going with it.
See ya!